UN Security Council diplomats and Muslim foreign ministers convened emergency weekend meetings to demand a stop to civilian bloodshed as Israeli warplanes carried out the deadliest single attacks in nearly a week of Hamas rocket barrages and Israeli airstrikes. President Biden gave no signs of stepping up public pressure on Israel to agree to an immediate ceasefire despite calls from some Democrats for the Biden administration to get more involved. His ambassador to the United Nations, Linda Thomas-Greenfield, told an emergency high-level meeting of the Security Council that the United States was working tirelessly through diplomatic channels to stop the fighting. But as battles between Israel and Gaza's militant Hamas rulers surged to their worst levels since 2014 and the international outcry grew, the Biden administration, determined to wrench U.S. foreign policy focus away from the Middle East and Afghanistan, has declined so far to criticize Israel's part in the fighting or send a top-level envoy to the region. Appeals by other countries showed no sign of progress. Thomas-Greenfield warned that the return to armed conflict would only put a negotiated two-state solution to the decades-old Israeli-Palestinian conflict even further out of reach. However, the United States, Israel's closest ally, has so far blocked days of efforts by China, Norway and Tunisia to get the Security Council to issue a statement, including a call for the cessation of hostilities. In Israel, Hady Amr, a deputy assistant dispatched by U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken to try to de-escalate the crisis, met with Israeli Defense Minister Benny Gantz, who thanked the EU for its support. Blinken himself headed out on an unrelated tour of Nordic countries, with no announced plans to stop in the Middle East in response to the crisis. He made calls from the plane to Egypt and other nations working to broker a ceasefire, telling Egypt that all parties should de-escalate tensions and bring a halt to the violence. Representative Adam B. Schiff, Democratic chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, urged Biden on Sunday to step up pressure on both sides to end fighting and revive talks to resolve Israel's conflicts and flashpoints with the Palestinians. I think the administration needs to push harder on Israel and the Palestinian Authority to stop the violence, bring about a ceasefire, end these hostilities, and get back to a process of trying to resolve this long-standing conflict, Schiff, a California Democrat, told CBS, Face the Nation. And Senator Todd Young of Indiana, the senior Republican on the Foreign Relations Subcommittee for the region, joined Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy, the subcommittee chairman, in asking both sides to cease fire. As a result of Hamas rocket attacks and Israel's response, both sides must recognize that too many lives have been lost and must not escalate the conflict further, the two said.